Thank you for tuning in to the Bud and Roach Show.
Bro, back in the day, there was this game that I got for, I don't know if it was Nintendo or Sega Genesis. It was called Ghouls and Ghosts. Remember that shit?
I remember it. I never played it. I remember hearing of it. Ghouls and Goblins too, right?
Yeah. I was heavy on those type of games until I realized it's not a fucking game. And I think I've suffered a lot in my life because I've dealt with the supernatural shit on just an ignorant level.
I won't even say
ignorant level, bro.
I'll say later in life on an ignorant level. I'll say what we dealt with in life and couldn't quite explain prior to that. To being, I won't even say knowledgeable, but at least having a little bit of knowing is different. The things we dealt with to make us believe that shit was real, that realm was not just the realm that was written about and
it's not a fantasy. It's not a fantasy.
No,
novel.
it's real. It's real. It's real. But we've both experienced enough in our lifetimes.
But it also stems from the fact that we grew up in you semi-religious, me completely religious, but it was a part of the same religion.
The same.
So we came into a lifestyle of fear-mongering because I feel for a long time a lot of people would use the supernatural, the unexplainable, as reasons to why I should do what they're telling me to do because they supposedly have more information about it than I do. Now, when you look at who we've become, the shit that we've done, the people who preached and taught us these things, they're actively going against us on speaking about anything because their fear-mongering didn't work. It's not even a sense of like, oh, they're exposing us, because we don't even talk about that shit. It's the fact that we came from there and we surpassed their expectations. We surpassed their booby traps.
You know what?
We drove over the booby traps.
I'm going to say you in particular. I'm going to say as far as it came from me, I'll say I was an afterthought. Mainly as of talking to my dad, and we'll talk about this after we wrap this. But as being my dad's son and the way people perceive my dad with things, and you obviously know my parents' history with the organization. Me, my brother, and my sister were always written as cast-offs. And I can say, went a lot, I won't say a lot better of a place, but for everything that everyone who was in it and didn't get out like we did had to go through, it's still an even playing field. And like, what really did you accomplish from that? But even more than that, we're talking about more than that. We're talking about bigger shit than that.
Check this out. I was groomed to be the next up. I was giving speeches in front of 200 people at 6 years old, 7 years old. I like, they expected me to be the guy that was going to take this the same way that I take the things that I do with my people and move it forward. So
gotta be careful tossing that my people around what we're talking about.
No, I'm talking about my family.
I know what we know what we're talking about. I'm just saying for the general public. We don't want anybody inferring things from, not putting that comprehension together like they should.
You social media justice warrior motherfuckers. You ruin everything for us.
And just want you guys know what he's talking about. But let's get back to the subject.
I'm talking about my crew.
The team, the fam.
I think my distaste for the religion led me to a point in my life where I was so flexible with the things that I was experimenting with because I didn't know what to believe anymore. I felt that everything that I was told was a lie. And really, this happened right in the inception of Bud and Roach because it was doing all the research that I did after I was disfellowshipped from the church that really made me start going on a fucking crazy rant, and it transitioned into radio.
For what you guys, I don't know how particular Roach wants to get into this, but I know exactly what you're talking of. I saw the video, and you called me immediately afterward. I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna dive into this.
I want you to dive into it, but before we do, like I said, we've both experienced enough in our lifetime. I'm never gonna question it. And I tell everyone when it comes to this, you can't believe in what you want to believe in and believe the other side does not exist.
Exactly.
Or that makes everything you want to say you believe in or what you do for null and void. I'm tossing that back to you.
Jay-Z, one of the best artists in the world. I remember we was in high school. He dropped a freestyle after 9/11. And part of the freestyle, he said, how could he give you free will without giving you evil? And, bro, that shit resonated. Because at that point in my life when we was doing, and the story that we're referring to was the day that we all played the Ouija board. You wasn't there. You were the person, one of the people. I called you and I called my wife. And this was before me and her was even together. I just called her that night and said, I can't believe it. I was in full panic mode, nigga.
Nigga, I thought, nigga, the way you called me, nigga, I told you I was prepared for the worst, man. You scared the shit out of me. I thought something terrible happened.
And my family that's come from this, like my grandfather was a Satanist. He was one of the biggest Satanists in Puerto Rico. He used to hold fucking seances on the land that we own. And my mom became a Jehovah's Witness because she was so frightened off of the shit that she saw growing up as a kid. And my grandfather and my grandmother, both from Puerto Rico, Sidra, died of a heart attack within months from each other. They couldn't take it no more. And people stayed with the land. My family stayed with the land. And then they used to see my grandparents just walking in the woods, walking on the land in the middle of the night, scratching on the wall. Then they will give us shit. They'll give us clothes. They'll give us, little trinkets. And the minute we bring that shit into my house, shit start happening to us. Now everybody's seeing shit. Now the rocking chair is moving by itself. Now, it's like, bro, this supernatural shit, we don't know nothing about that shit, bro.
You say something about that, like when it comes. This is fucked up. We sitting here in the dark discussing this. We here in the studio talking about all of this.
You wanted to do a podcast.
This is the podcast on the nigga got me feeling the heebie-jeebies. This is a good podcast right now. This is a great one. I've always believed in this shit, man. And I've told you what I've experienced. And we've experienced the shit next door to each other, nigga, living back to back. Nigga, I've told you what I've experienced in my crib. I know you went through that shit. But reading the shit that I've read about,
bro, the day that you told me that somebody was standing at your door covering his face, I believed you, nigga. I believed you, nigga.
You know I'm not that type of nigga, bro. Like, I swear to God. And I'm going to tell you guys this story.
Because you're not a campfire storyteller, nigga.
This is
the projects.
This is the projects, big. And I'm going to tell you guys right now. I came home this night drunk as shit. I was not 21 yet. I was hanging out with some friends who knew some bars they could get me into. I'm the youngest of three. Lorenzo was on his way home from work. My sister was home. Both of my parents were home. I came home one night from partying. It was about 4:35 in the morning. Went straight to my room. You know the way I sleep. I always sleep facing the wall where my window is.
I was the same way.
I don't know why. When I was a kid, I felt like until Lorenzo closed that door, I could never sleep facing that way. Lorenzo was the one who told me, "Yo, Lonzo, I'm closing the door."
We were
my older brother.
To be hypersensitive to these things.
I don't know what it was, but I couldn't sleep as a kid with my bedroom door open until Lorenzo started closing it, and I started sleeping better. That's what I can say as a fact. As a fucking fact, I can promise you that. But this night I'm talking about, I came home, I poked what my mom asks us to do every night, poke our heads in no matter what we do, no matter what our age. If you're home, let me know you're home. Told her I'm home, was in my room, I couldn't sleep, tossing and turning. I turned from my wall where I always face to sleep and closed my eyes to face the other side where my door is, where my closet is. And I saw in the dark a figure more solid black than that darkness with red eyes start floating towards me, just coming at me. And when I tell you motherfuckers, I screamed at the top of my motherfucking lungs. I woke both of my parents up and my sister up. I jumped out of my bed. I turned on my room light. I turned on the hallway light. I turned on the kitchen light and the motherfucking living room light. before anyone was out of their rooms. And you know how rooms are lined up. You've been in my house plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
For me to make it my to my bedroom, the hallway, the kitchen, and turn the dining room, living room light, you know I wasn't bullshitting. And my mom's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I just saw something wrong. Like I was freaking the fuck out. I didn't want to go back in my room.
Bro, you know my grandmother got murdered, right? My grandmother from my dad's side.
Yes, you told me that.
I remember the day we was watching In Living Color. This was one of the shows that my family gathered in the living room for. And they cut to commercial and they showed a picture of my grandmother and it said grandmother slain in Brooklyn and she just got shot in the heart after we had her on the phone maybe an hour before. She was on her way to my house. And she was dropping off, my cousins. So when she passed away, she had a lot of belongings. One of those belongings was a weight set that was in her apartment. And my family was hypersensitive about bringing people's things because you bring their energy. And I believe that. You bring people's energy when you bring shit from other people's houses. And every night, this weight set used to clank like somebody was lifting the weights.
That's fucking nuts.
And
that's creepy.
My whole family heard it. And we would all talk about it, but it didn't stop happening until we got the fuck rid of those weights, nigga. Because there's just certain things that you can't explain. It's like a transference of it.
Like you can't explain. We don't understand it. There's shit that goes eons that we do not understand. As far as energies, like there's people that sleep along, like they call it energy lines of the earth. Me right too, now, bro. Like I've been getting this whole episode. Like this is a good one. This is one of the ones that we need to do. A serious one. We're still talking some shit, joking. This is a real serious one because we both experienced it, and no matter what anyone can say, I think at least everyone in life has experienced something supernatural that they couldn't explain. I do. And I honestly do.
You know what I feel like too? I feel like we've been born in a part of society that's been so sheltered away from the actual explanations for these things. Like, I think you travel back to society back in the day, if you could go back in time, I think people back then, they might not know what an iPhone is, but they know how to tap into the fucking spirits. Like, and we've been taken away from that shit, so it's become almost like UFO-like, unidentified
flying object.
So it's almost like a myth at this point, and that makes us scared most of all because all these things could possibly just be something that's existing in the same realm.
In the realm as us, we just don't understand. And before we wrap this, I just need to. I'm going back and say nothing's never gonna make me not believe. And the things we've experienced, the things we've gone through in our lives, the things we've seen, man. Yo, I believe in the other side. I believe that if you believe in a higher power and being and believe that his adversary does not exist or can't get to you, then whatever you believe, like I said, is null and void, man. And what I've experienced, what I know you've experienced, what other people have experienced in their lives. Yo, bro, my girlfriend has a ghost in her house.
I believe it.
Yo, bro, when I was
there,
you were there.
I saw the house. As soon as I walked in that shit, I said, "Oh, this place is
nigga."
hard,
when I told you to go upstairs to pee, nigga, like up there. I'm like, go up there, right? I pointed to you. Bathroom door's open, nigga. I promise you, yo. Every time I turn lights off, I'm like, yo, I know for a fact I turned that light off, cause you know it's like me. What like it's almost like a second part of your body where your mother or your parent was always getting on you growing up in the projects. We connect kind of that thing, you know, to flip that light switch off. And when I know I flip that shit and I come back and it's like, why is this light on? Nobody else is here. It's just me and her. Her roommates all at work.
Bro, even when we pulled up in the car and I said, this? And you said, yeah, it's here. I don't know, bro.
I believe in it, bro. I tell the whole time. We do the fucking, you heard. You know where to follow us, man.
At Bud and Roach. You see it on the fucking screen. Stop acting like you a ghost, nigga, before we go ghost on your ass, nigga.
Thank you for tuning in to
You
the
turn into Casper.